Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Honorable Ma'am, Professor Mahzatun, and fellow friends. Okay, today we will discussing about the principle of the international law on the transboundary pollution with a reference to Malaysia on haze pollution issue based on the Asean agreement, Haze agreement. Okay, with the first content is the introduction, and then we will discuss about the principle of transboundary pollution and the Malaysian haze issue, and thirdly we will discussing about the Asean agreement and problems, and the last but not least is the Malaysian and the principle. Okay, we go to others, the introduction. Okay, firstly we will determination about the definition of the transboundary pollution. Okay, transboundary pollution is defined as a pollution whose physical origin is situated wholly or in part within the area under the jurisdiction or other state, which is this problem can be found along the state border and proven particularly different to address. Moreover, the principle of boundary pollution are well established and compatible either the international law or the domestic law. Okay, pollution to addressing within the international border is the international problem. Hence, this issue need legal mechanism attention, such as a treaties, arbitration, agreement, and international management. Which is we has, for instance, the international management is the United Nations Environment Programs like UNEP, United States Environment Protection Agency, EPA, World Environmental Organization, WEO, which is the NGOs, the world NGOs for the Pacific, for the pollution and the transboundary pollution. Okay, pollution source substance as a gas, a liquid, and a solid for any energy like heat, sound, or radioactive. This kind pollution classified by the environment are air pollution, water pollution, and the land pollution. In addition, in the modern society now, we also concerned to about the specific types of pollution, such as noise pollution, plastic pollution, and the light pollution. Okay. However, National Geographic define the pollution is the introduction of the harmful materials into the environmental, and these harmful materials are called pollution. This is a type of pollution, which is we have a four type pollution, the major four type pollution. And then this the firstly is the air pollution, which is the common happen around the world, including Malaysia. Okay, it's referred to release of the harmful contaminant such as chemical gas, toxic, biological, molecules, and the particles. Okay, this is posed to serious health issue and detrimental. Okay, the effect of the range pollution is terrifying. For the instance, increased risk of skin disease, cardiovascular problems, respiratory illness, and the risk of the cancer. Along with the may cause the from the air pollution, may cause the acid rain, ozone depletion, global warming, and the hazard to the animals too. Okay, this risk was contribute from the forest burning, mining operation, fuel burning, fossil, and the exhaust gas from the industrial or factories. Okay, and the second one is the water pollution. Water pollution that refers to can occur when the harmful pollutant and the particulate matter are introduced to the water body. This contaminant is exist by the human activity, okay, such as oil spill and the improper sewage treatment. Okay, the cause of water pollution are from disposing untreated industrial sewage, dumping solid waste into the water, human or animal waste, and the agriculture without the content fertilizer and the pesticides. Okay, there's consequence from the water pollution, which is increase the water-based disease and the toxic chemical. Okay, disruption to ecosystem and the threat to the marine life. Okay, after that is the third one. Pollution is the land or soil pollution. Okay, land or soil pollution, the degradation of the land due to the presence of chemical or substance by human activity into the soil. Okay, is that impact to the life drastically in the direct or indirectly. Any plant will absorb the toxic chemical present to soil. Certainly can affect soil pollution or obscure, but impaction is noticeable. Common cause of soil issue is from oil spill, improper industrial waste disposal, mining activities, acid rain, industrial accident, intensive agriculture and farming, agrochemical. The effect of the land pollution will be impact to the flora and our fauna, and lost soil nutrition for the agriculture, and the toxic dust. And lastly is the major common today, the noise pollution, which is excessive amount of noise in the surround can disrupt the natural balance, usually from the man-made activity. The sound over the 85 decibel are considered to be detrimental. Whether usually conversation like us now is that around 60 decibel. Noise pollution has a several contribution, which is from the noise industrial like heavy machine, transport noise, construction noise, whole house noise like a mixer television, like the washing machine, and noise from the social event like the loudspeaker and the firecracker. This is a type of pollution. There are many pollution, but there is minor pollution like the radioactive pollution, and then we have the some more of pollution we can mention after this. Okay, this is we go into the principle of the transboundary pollution. Okay, from the transboundary pollution is happen anywhere, everywhere, and didn't recognize state boundary and sovereignty. This is dangerous to the environmental and damage to the neighbors. The oil spill, haze from the fire, from the agriculture practice, leaking radioactive material from the nuclear plant, and pollution on the upstream river may affect the neighbor country and the near areas. However, the international community concerned the pollution realization and commitment on the social and economic cost of the transboundary pollution raise serious concern. Okay, the establishment of the international legal principle to address this issue has been clarified. The first is we use the case of the trial smelter case of the 1941, considered the landmark case of the transboundary pollution litigation. Okay, United States claimed that the damage was caused by the state of the Washington by fumes of the smelter located 7 miles from the international border in the Canada. The US rejected the decision of the International Joint Commission and case that referred to the arbitration under the 1935 treaties. In the March 1941, the United States awarded an arbitral decision which asserted the principle that a state responsibility for any environmental damage it creates even beyond its territorial limits. Specifically, tribunal found the base on the principle in the international law. No state has the right to use or permit the use of its territory in such a manner as to cause injury by fumes in or to the territory or another or the properties or person. When the case is of serious consequence, the injury is established by clear and convincing evidence. Okay, this trial case tell us about the no state has right to use and permit to use territory. Okay, and then we go to the second principle, which is the Rio's principle, the Rio Declaration, principle 2. The state in the accordance with the charter in the United Nations and principle in the international law, the sovereign right to exploit their own source pursuant to their own environmental and development policies. The responsibility to ensure that activity within jurisdiction of control do not cause damage to environmental of other state. The Rio Declaration, accordance with the Charter of the United Nations in the proclamation of the 27 principle with some important in environmental protection was held on the Rio de Janeiro from the 3rd to the 14th June to 1992. We go to the Malaysian issue. Okay, we see the slide. Okay, haze pollution are many problem to the part of the world, Malaysian over decades. Air pollution was big issue not only Malaysia but the all southern East Asia region. Haze consists the sufficient smoke, dust, moisture, and the vapor suspended into the air to the due process of the urbanization and rapid growth of the industrial sector. Okay, the most recorded haze issue is the 1997 was seriously air pollution affecting Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Brunei, and many more. Regardless, many action has been taken, seem is not be unstoppable. According to look at your slide, the chronology of haze episode in Malaysia, beside 1997, we have 2005, 2020, 30, and 2015, and the last newest last year, which is 2019, which is the most affected is about the 1997, which is air pollution index up risk above the 500 level of API, which is the most hazard in the scale. And other is reported by the also at the 2005. After the 7 years about 1997, the API at the Kuala Selangor exceeded 500 point or 500 index, which is so harmful to Malaysian citizen health. This is air pollution index of Malaysia. We call APIMS, APIMS. This common use is from the website that I taking from the APIMS website, which is provided by the Ministry of Environment and Water, and the website will show the data on the air pollution index hourly within 38 stations around the Malaysia on the haze public. So this indicator or this data will be used by public to know the haze pollution air pollution level. We can see at the below, which is that is the level index, which is 0 to 50, good, 51 to 100, moderate, and after the 300 uppers, which is a hazard to the can we imagine that 1995 and 2005 the API index up to 500, which is a very hazard to our population. This is a Malaysian Environmental Quality Act. Okay, Malaysian has used or upgrade their act, which is the first act the Malaysian has been established is the Environmental Quality Act 1974, which is Act 127. This is the first act on the environmental quality in Malaysia, established of the environmental quality. This act we have to establish they tell us, they tell the in the act, which is the establishment of the Environmental Quality Council license council, which is and this act also tell about the licensing authorities, the restriction on the pollution on the atmosphere, soil, land, inland water, and noise in Malaysia. And the second amendment on the 2007, which is the first amendment to first Environmental Quality Act, which is amendment on the section 38B, upgraded scale of punishment to imprison exceeding 5 years, not exceeding 5 years, and shall be liable to fine not exceeding 500,000 ringgit. This is the second amendment is for establishment of the punishment, maybe the rise of the punishment. And the third amendment of the Environmental Quality Act 2012 to 18, which is the Act A1441, the second amendment of the Environmental Quality Act. This amendment they introduce about the more details, prohibition, restriction activities, power to the investigation, and the arrest who was committed an offence. Okay, this act giving the power to the authorities to arrest anyone has doing any committing the offence on this act. Okay, now Malaysia trying to draft a new law, which is a domestic law. This suit to the draft law on the transboundary haze pollution will have to provide access to justice, improve the safety and the well-being, and promote human rights for the sustainable development. As we know, the Transboundary Pollution Act is still in the Dewan Rakyat to be discussing and to be approved by the Agong. But there has a situation will be discussed after this. Asean has Transboundary Agreement. What is ASEAN? Before we go to the agreement, we must know what is ASEAN. ASEAN is the regional intergovernmental organization comprising the 10 countries around the southern East Asia, which is they were cooperated on the economy, political, military, security, educational, and the social culture among the members. Okay, the establishment has on the 8th August 1967 with the 5 leaders, and now at the 1997, the 10 countries have been as a member of the Southern Asia or ASEANs, and this ASEAN is the organization of the Southeast Asia to cooperation about the all sector that I mentioned before. Okay, we have Malaysia, Myanmar, Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Laos, Vietnam, Philippines, and Brunei Darussalam. Okay, and then we go to the ASEAN Transboundary Pollution Agenda. Okay, ASEAN has effort over 25 years to establish the Transboundary Pollution Agenda. Okay, the first establishment of the agreement on the transboundary pollution is 1985, when the establishment of the 1985 agreement on the conservation of the natural resources, which is this agreement is to confine the pollution, the resources of the country based on the international law. Okay, the second one is the 1919 with the Kuala Lumpur Accord and Environment and Development, which adopted the ASEAN Minister of Environmental on 19 June 19, which called to inter alia effort leading towards the harmonization of transboundary pollution and prevent. And then we go to 1995, we have a cooperation plan, transboundary pollution. And then we go to 1997, the 1997 region Regional Haze Action Plan. This is most important plan, which is the Hanoi Plan, which is fully implementing and the 1997 ASEAN Full Cooperation Plan for the Transboundary. And then the lastly, after the Regional Haze Action Plan, we using the 2002 the ASEAN Agreement on the Transboundary Haze Pollution AATHP was held and signed on the 10 June 2002. This agreement is born because the other agreement before is the soft law and nothing to the enforcement, the little enforcement action, and the bond of the ASEAN Agreement Transboundary Haze Pollution at the 2002 is the mark or the big point to the ASEAN Transboundary Pollution Agenda in the ASEAN. Okay, there has a more powerful agreement, laws and enforcement. Okay, to cooperating. This is ASEAN Agreement Transboundary was signed at 2002. This solution solution of the agreement is from the 1997, 1998. Provide the legal framework to prevent and monitor transboundary haze. Okay, to prevent and to monitor transboundary. Okay, throughout the national region effort. Okay, requires among each other to appropriate domestic regulation. Okay, this is Malaysia do now. Malaysia want to establish a new act, which is the Transboundary Haze Pollution Act to determine. Okay, we discuss after this. This agreement is objectively to prevent and monitor transboundary haze pollution as a result of the land forest fire, which should be mitigated through concerned national efforts and intensively regional and international cooperation. Okay, in the Article 4 of 3 of the ASEAN Agreement is state that member are supposed to take legislative measure to implement their obligation under the agreement. So this agreement is mostly to give the state to the establish of the and implement of the obligation. Okay, to take the legislative measure for implement. Okay, this issue. Every agreement have the issue, such as ASEAN Agreement Transboundary, which even the AATHP was signed on the 2002. However, but Indonesia just signing at the 2015 after pressure by among the members, because the most air pollution around the ASEAN is from the Indonesia. And Indonesia try to deny or to blame others on this situation. The issue that I found to doing this is the three issues. Okay, that's what I found. Which is the first issue is the ASEAN way. ASEAN way is the principle that guide the interaction among the ASEAN member states, emphasize informality on interference and consensus building, while the involved over the decades to allow and arguability more flexible interpretation and principle. Nonetheless, reinforce a state-centric commitment to sovereignty, which ultimately impedes collection action. The ASEAN way is the rule of law of the ASEAN. Okay, we state the non-interference, which is other state among the state can interfere in the other issue of the country. Okay, this is ASEAN way. This ASEAN spirit. This is issues has been be identified, and then the second is challenge to identifying the responsibility, the responsible man or person or company to doing the open burning fire at the Indonesia. This more to the farmers, the company of the plantation, they're doing the easy way to open burning, which is they use the technique of the burning for burning as widely and effectively way to clear their plantation. This challenge is from the government, which is the corruption and the mismanagement. Even though the 2019 Haze identified the company has doing the open burning fire, but until now, Indonesian government didn't find the person or revoke the license and then doing the enforce. Even that Haze 2019 has affected many country and get the many consequence from the event. And the third issue that I see is the back and forth blame game. This issue happened last years when the Indonesian blame Malaysia, Singapore company, because their company doing the burning fire in their territories, and Indonesia want Malaysia and Singapore be accountable. This issue happened because the Indonesia didn't have the legislative to enforce this particular. They as a backdoor. They try to blame other country and company to doing this. Next we go the Malaysian and the principle. The principle of the good neighborliness supposed to be idea. Limited sovereignty between the ASEAN member. The responsibility of a state on the other state can be pointed to contain this issue in the future. However, this solution in context of ASEAN is constrained by the block commitment of the ASEAN way. The vehicle to domestic legislation to fully address the transboundary nature of the issue as by virtue of the transboundary cut across the jurisdiction are likely to encounter sovereignty society. In the Article 3 of the AATHTP, the principle shall obligate to the all ASEAN member. The party have in accordance with the Charter of the United Nations in the principle of the international law, the sovereignty right to exploit their own resources pursuant to their environmental and development policy, and the responsibility to ensure that activities within their jurisdiction or control do not cause the damage to the environmental and harm to the human health of the other state or of the areas beyond the limits of the national jurisdiction. This principle is the one principle of the international law. Explain to all members the right to exploit their own resource must come with the responsibility and don't harm the other state. Clearly, Indonesian government has the responsibility and the accountability to the Haze issue in the southern. However, because the ASEAN spirit among the members, this issue become unsolved, and there are no member ASEAN, Malaysia and Singapore didn't take the action to bring dispute to the international court for repression on the Indonesian against the Indonesian. Malaysia is the first country to ratify AATHP on the 2012, and after years there are no annex to domestic Haze. Legislation will be important to achieve the goal 16 of the United Nations sustainable development goals, peace and justice, and a strong institution. This is why the suitable draft law and the transboundary Haze will be provided to access to justice and improve the safety and the well-being and promote the human right for the sustainable development. Reported on the New Straits Times article by the Environmental and the Water Minister yang berbahagia Datuk Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man informed the Dewan Rakyat that instead of the enacting a law on the Transboundary Haze, the government believe that the best step is to enhance cooperation with the neighbouring country and the Asean. Thus, the ineffectiveness of the diplomatic effort to curb the toxic haze issue the most challenging, and the diplomatic cooperation with the all ASEAN party can take place simultaneously, and the enactment of the domestic law to hold the wrongdoing parties to be account. For this reason, Malaysian Transboundary Haze Pollution Act was welcomed by the NGOs and the environmental campaigns as opportunity for the Malaysian government to take action on the Malaysian company responsible for fire abort. Thus, the all member in the ASEAN should be responsibility and emphasis the same act uphold the AATHP. This decision will serve the act for the sake of the region cooperation simply prolong the issue. The ASEAN track record tell us the effective regional solution of far-fetched. Ultimately, some degrees on acceptable and the ability limited is better than none. This is the conclusion of this my present today is the nation as a member of ASEAN are trying to solve this issue with all costs. Okay, Malaysian member constrained with the ASEAN Week commitment. This hamper an effective regional response. It also make it difficult to individual member state to implement domestic legislation that complement the ASEAN agreement. As the long and the case, ASEAN state will be declined to the time frame action to address the root of the problem. Finally, responsibility should be strengthened among the ASEAN members. All members should be, especially Indonesia, should give all commitment, control the haze problem by uphold the domestic law and enhance their cooperation, enforce that legislation and diplomatic to resolving this issue together. All ASEAN members should encourage ASEAN spirit and should adhere to principles that have been agreed upon the curbing toxic haze issue for the future ASEAN, for the ASEAN. That's it for my presentation. Thank you for listening. Any question can write down the comment. It will be answered as soon as possible. Thank you for your listening. Thank you.